everyone, so today I wanted to do a review of something that I've been using very often lately, and I mentioned this product on Snapchat, I don't know, like a week, 2 weeks ago, and actually it's been more like 2 weeks, and I've really been enjoying it and using it pretty regularly, so I wanted to do a video on it, and it's the Super CC Cream by Physicians Formula. So this CC cream, I picked it up at Ulta when I was there looking for an SPF. Now, what I wanted was an SPF product that had a little bit of color to it so that I don't always have to just put on my foundation, whether it's my Urban Decay one or my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I wanted something that I could use as a tinted moisturizer that was really good for my skin, that had a pretty decent SPF. So this has an SPF of 30. I have it in the shade Light, and this says Color Correction and Care CC Cream. So this is supposed to be a moisturizer, a color corrector, and your foundation slash SPF product. So it's supposed to eliminate all of those things. So it can eliminate 3 to 4 products out of your routine. Typically, if I'm going to do my makeup, I'm always going to put some sort of foundation on. I don't really go for tinted moisturizers because sometimes they are a little bit too moisturizing. They're just not the best. For me, I haven't found the one for combo oily skin, which is a skin type that I have. So I wanted to find something that was relatively affordable and that could be good for summertime. Now, it's getting kind of hot here. It's humid today here in Georgia, but we are getting into the warmer months, and some places are going to get really hot. Some places are very hot already. So for me, I wanted to try something that could give me a nice sort of even look to my skin without feeling heavy, something that I could do with just a few minutes, something I can do at my sink after washing my face, which is how I use this product. And I use my fingers, which I rarely even use my fingers for any makeup-y type stuff, so I use my fingers to apply it. It's just really easy. The last couple times that I have gone out on like a little mini trip over the weekend, I have just taken this and of course my foundation, but I end up never using those products, and I just used this the whole weekend, and it was just easy, quick, and simple. So I wanted to show you how this applies, and I'm also going to show you my whole routine of bronzing, blush, and contour. I'm going to do it all in this video just so you can see how this applies and how other things apply over this product. I think that would be very helpful. So let's just cut to the demo. Alright, so this is what the tube looks like, and like I said before, I apply it using my fingers, so I'm just taking a couple little dabs, like pearl sizes, on my fingers, and it's a quite thick formula, not super thick, but then what I do is sort of dot it all over my face, and obviously I needed a little bit more. Probably about like 2 big pearl sized amount is what I used, and I apply it with my fingers, just kind of rubbing it in as if it were moisturizer. I'm not doing anything differently than if I were just putting on my regular skincare moisturizer on, or if I were to use my fingers for foundation, I would be applying it the same way. And I think it's just easy. Like I said, it's very quick to do with your fingers. I think it's just probably the easiest tools that you can use are your fingers. So I'm just rubbing it in circular motions, just making sure it blends really easily. And I believe I mentioned that I wear the shade Light. That seems to be a pretty good match. Being that my face is a little bit lighter than the rest of my body, this helps sort of even everything out so that my face sort of blends and matches with my neck, my chest, and my arms. And this is basically what I do, and I'm blending it down a little bit on my neck as well. Again, it has that SPF, so it gives you coverage and protects you on the sun. So this is what it looks like after just applying just one really thin layer and really well blended. And then after that, I usually go and add a little bit more where I need it. So this is a buildable product, and the coverage for me where I need it the most is like right around where my nose is and where I have larger pores. So just kind of dab over those areas just a little bit more. I did say I'm going to show you my whole routine. I'm going to go into concealer next. This is the Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circle Concealer by Maybelline. This is in the brightener shade, so it's the one that has that sort of pinky brightening tone. And I have used this plenty of times in videos, so this is not the first time you've seen it, but I do prefer this one over the Becca one, which has the same sort of pinky tone to it. And I blended that in with a Beauty Blender, the blusher. Then, of course, I have to go over that with some concealer. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I do wear the shade Light in this, which I believe is number 10. And again, the same Beauty Blender, the blusher. You can use it wet or you can use it dry. For the under eye, it really doesn't make any difference. It's the perfect size, and then I also take some of that around my nose. Then I have to set everything because I do get oily, so I'm using the translucent setting powder, the Bye Bye Pores by It Cosmetics. And what I'm doing is taking a big fluffy brush, This one is by Morphe. It's from their Elite collection, and I'm pushing the translucent powder over my face. If I do circular buffing motions, what that's going to do is going to lift off the CC cream and or foundation if you're using something like this over foundation product. So just sort of pushing it into the skin, I feel like it helps keep my oil from breaking through and making me look a little too shiny throughout the day. So I just sort of push that into the skin. And of course, I'm going to set my under eye concealer with this product from the Skin Twinkle Highlighting Palette by Tarte Cosmetics. This one in the center, as I mentioned before, isn't very useful for highlighting. It really does nothing, but I do like it for under the eye. It gives it a nice sort of silky feel. Moving on to bronzer, this is my favorite bronzer at the moment. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I'm applying this pretty heavily because I want that sort of bronzy glow, and this is the perfect bronzer to do that because it is very natural and you cannot overdo this product at all. And I'm using a brush from Real Techniques. It's the Multitask brush. Then to highlight, of course, cannot skip it, the Anastasia Glow Kit in Gleam. And so what I'm going to do is mix the bottom two shades in this palette. One is more kind of like pinky, one is a little bit more kind of pearly. Mixing the two of them together with the Morphe M501 brush. Favorite brush for highlighting. Do you see that glow? Yes. Yes. I love it so much. And I did go pretty heavy that day because I just felt like doing it. But applying it to my typical highlighting spots. And then finishing off the face with some blush. This is the Matte Blush by Makeup Revolution in the shade Nude. And applying that with a Sephora number 54 brush. So that is how you can apply this product. You can definitely use a beauty blender if you like these types of sponges for foundation. You could use that with this. You can use a brush, your fingers like I did, a makeup wedge sponge if you have those. Anything really works because this is very creamy and it blends in like a moisturizer. So what I do is I cleanse, tone, put any treatments on, my vitamin C serum, and then I go in with this product. Sometimes I set it like I did today, sometimes I don't. It just depends what my mood is, if I feel like even taking that extra step. And then I do like to put a little bit of bronzer. The butter bronzer from Physicians Formula is my go-to at the moment. It's my favorite, which I use in the video today. So I do that pretty regularly. Sometimes I skip the bronzer altogether if I'm just going to be around the house. But it's very important to have an SPF and something that you could just put it on and be on the go. Now, for me, this gives me a pretty good coverage because my skin doesn't have a ton of imperfections, not a lot of hyperpigmentation, not active breakouts. So for me, this is enough to substitute my foundation product. Now, if you need extra coverage, you can go with this underneath the foundation or just use this with some concealer and sort of add that coverage where you need it and keep everything else pretty light, which is why I got something like this. And this actually reminds me of a product from It Cosmetics. I forget what it's called. I'll put it down below. But it is like a CC cream with SPF 50 and it gives you that foundation-y coverage and that creaminess of a moisturizer. This is pretty much almost exactly the same. In my opinion, from experience of trying them both, this is I would say an alternative to that It Cosmetics without the price tag. I think I pay like, no, 15 maybe possibly for this at Ulta, and then of course you can use coupons there, so it saves you a little bit of money. And you can find this anywhere. Any drugstore carries Physicians Formula, so it's easily available for purchase anywhere. So I really like this. I hope that you guys found this review helpful. This has been my go-to product as of late, and I definitely wanted to share that just in case any of you were looking for a tinted moisturizer, or in this case a CC cream that is actually worth trying. So let me know what your thoughts are if you've tried that. If you have any other CC cream recommendations from the drugstore, I would love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate your love and support. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, it's all down below in the description box. And I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.